Hello, and welcome to the Mommy Escape Time podcast. I am Lauren, your host, and I have a 1-year-old son. I started this podcast for any mother who might feel alone in their journey through motherhood. Becoming a mom is hard no matter how you get there, and this podcast is about the mom stuff that comes up in our lives. Listen, enjoy, and connect with us on the Mommy Escape Time podcast. Hello, and welcome to the Mommy Escape Time podcast. I am Lauren, your host, and it is just me today. It is the Wednesday. I'm recording this the day before it goes up, the Wednesday before Memorial Day weekend, which I didn't even know it was this weekend because I guess like all of us, it doesn't matter if it's going to be a holiday weekend or not because there's not much you can do anyways, but I've gotten a lot of comments like, please have a guest on, please, it's not that everyone doesn't just like hearing me, but I totally understand. This is the longest time I've ever gone without having a guest. And I couldn't quite put my finger on why I wasn't really having a guest. Like, it's very hard to get schedules and whatnot, to match up to even do it. But the hardest part it's actually on my side is that to record a podcast with someone who is not sitting next to me, I do it over Skype or FaceTime and just record the audio. Now, there are days where I have to do Google Meets with adults or students, which Google Meets it's just like a FaceTime, but it's part of the Google Suite for schools. There are some days where I go from 7:30 in the morning until almost 2 o'clock, and every minute I am in a different Google Meet, some video meet. And the last thing that I want to do at night after I've put my son to sleep is call someone and do a video chat and record it. So that is a huge reason why I just cannot handle having a guest on right now. I do think that in another week or so, I might be able to, definitely in the summer, I will definitely be able to do that. That will not be an issue. And even Taryn and I might actually be able to be together. But it's just right now, it's just unbelievably, I can't do it. I can't. Normally when I do these podcasts too, like I have my computer right in front of me and I'm watching certain things on the sound because I'm doing all my own editing and everything like that. So there's other things that I have to look at, and I can't even look at the screen at all when I record. And I do my notes totally different for my podcasts now. I write them on little scraps of piece of paper, and I have all these little notes and everything like that. And I've had to change everything that I do, not just like one thing. So I think that probably for the next 2 or 3 weeks, I probably won't have a guest on the podcast. I have some ideas on some things that might work. I just don't know if I can get them together in time for like next week's show. So we'll see. I might be able to have like a few guests on, but we'll have to see how that goes. So I'm taking it week by week, day by day, and just going by that. So one of the fun things that I actually got to do this week was kind of, I don't want to say change over my son's closet, but I hang up all my son's clothes. And I know some people are like, oh my gosh, I could never do that. I just throw it all in drawers, or I don't even put it away. My son's closet is like one of like my refuge areas in my house. It always has been since before he was born. When he was first here and we had him at home and he couldn't sleep and he was getting his days and nights mixed up, we would actually hang out in his closet, and it's not very big. But we would hang out in his closet because it was just a little darker in there and I could hold him, and not that my singing is good, but the singing, the vibrations were better in the closet than they were like in a big open room. It's not a huge room either. I don't know why I keep making everything sound so big, but so I love organizing my son's closet. And because we are finally getting into warmer weather, I will say that like a switch flipped in our area May 15th, which was last Friday. So it was after I recorded our last podcast. But there was like I don't even know how to describe it. It was just like all of a sudden it was like, okay, whatever dark, rainy, cold cloud has been over us for the past 2 months has now gone away. And now our weather has been pretty great since last Friday. I mean, I know it's only Wednesday, but still, it's still so much better. And there's not like rain in the forecast every day like there used to be. And um, you know, the fifth May 15th was also the first day that we did not use or I did not use our electric blanket, and I actually have taken it off our bed, which is by far the latest I have ever had my electric blanket on my bed. And if you hear music in the background, it's because the ice cream man apparently is coming around right now. I guess they're the only ones that are going to be making money around this time because they know all the kids are home. So, um, but yes, so if you hear music, it's not me. It's just outside, and there's always someone mowing their lawn. So if you hear that too, that's why. Um, but yes, our weather. Keep getting my electric blanket off my bed was a huge deal. My husband said the latest he can ever remember me taking it off was when like during Easter normally. And like we haven't just had the electric blanket on, we have had our like our heavy winter comforter also on, which I don't even think I put on this year until like December. And I only put it out in December because I changed over to our Christmas sheets and it kind of goes with our Christmas sheets. So the fact that we had to use like our heavy comforter through the first half of May was very rough, I can say. And maybe I wouldn't have noticed it as much if I was at work, but I don't think so. I typically every day when bring my son home, we would go outside and play anyways. And I would say every day after his nap, I mean, I was wearing my winter coat in the middle of May. So, um, this is a big change. Very excited about it. I will always, 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 always be very excited that the weather is nicer. It's a little sad because it's been like high 60s, low 70s, like perfect weather. And it looks like we're going to be turning on the air conditioning in like 2 weeks. So it was like, oh, it was nice to open our windows while it lasted. I'm hoping that it's wrong. Maybe it'll just stay like this for a while. So we'll just hope that we get like a few more weeks where we don't need the air conditioning on. So that's been great. By the way, this is a totally random episode. I'm just going to be saying a lot of things. So if you don't know, and this is your first time listening, I am a Disney fan. I was supposed to go to Disney this summer, and we are not going, which is I've actually come to terms with because it just means next year we can go for longer because it's like having two trips. So I'm kind of getting more excited about that. And one of the things that has really helped me with getting my husband excited is my husband's love language is spreadsheets. So I normally like hand write out stuff or figure stuff out just on my own. Like I have my own little system on cost and what's the best and what should we do. And people kept talking about spreadsheets and how they use them for planning their Disney trip. So I just started to get into it and it got my husband into it. So he is planning what we are doing, 16, 17 months away. And we can't even book our Disney trip yet. So I think that has been, when you enjoy something, trying to get your partner involved by finding what they might appreciate about it is kind of nice. So I've been working a lot on that and changing things and trying to update them. Not like my plans aren't going to change 5,000 different times, especially because we don't know we don't know what the economy is even going to look like in the next couple of months, let alone a year from now. So I think that's just a big change. So I'm just, I have so many different types of plans. I think the thing that I'm most excited about is just being able to go for more than 3 days. We normally only go for 3 days. And so now we're going to go for 6 days. So I think that it's just very exciting for me. I haven't gone for 6 days since, I don't even know. There was one time when I was in eighth grade that we went for a week. My mom and my brother and I went for a week. And I think that, and one other time when I was, my first trip when I was 5, we went for, I think, like 5 days. But so I've never gone for like an extended period of time. It's always been like 3 days, 2 days, one day. So this is kind of exciting. Like I haven't gotten to plan that. And especially having a toddler, it's a totally different plan than if you want to go in the parks all day long. So that's Disney update. But what I will say is, so I've been watching all these videos about how Shanghai Disneyland, it opened, I think last week, not this week. Yeah, last week. And it was interesting to see their procedures. I think the biggest thing that I found that I don't want to say questioning, but I'm just curious about is that so they have to wear masks when they go to the park. Every single person has the same, I don't want to call them paper masks, but those blue masks that link around their ears. And they all have them. Every single person has the exact same mask. Like they all have the same box of masks that they ordered and they all have them. No single person has a homemade mask. And everyone has the exact same mask and they have to wear them. They have to come with them. Um, they can't, they're not giving them out at the parks. So I found that so odd that like no one had their own handmade masks and they all had them, which I don't want to say, it just makes me wonder, like, does everyone have them over there? Like, is that just the cultural thing that everyone would already have them and that there was no issue getting them? Like, I don't know how to figure out that information or find that information really. So I think that was just so, it's been very curious to me that everyone has the exact same masks that they're wearing, like the same, it's that light blue, they go behind the ears, and everyone's wearing them, and everyone's wearing them the right way. So, and I don't know if it's just because when they were trying to show that in the pictures like the first week or so, and so maybe that's what I'm seeing. But it's just very interesting to me that everyone there either has access or they all have those types of masks, and it just makes me wonder. I like, does everyone automatically have a supply out there? So that's my biggest question of the week. Like, where are these people getting all the same masks? Because I guess you could try and get them now in the United States. They're still going to cost you way above what they should be costing. Um, but yeah, that has been one of my issues is that I can't find a mask that I don't want to say I'm having a panic attack because that's not what's happening. I really just struggle to breathe in them. And people are like, "Oh, you'll get used to it. You'll get used to it." I haven't gotten used to it yet. I'm still struggling. Um and like uh it's just very hard for me. And like I can tell you I have very good oxygen levels, and um I breathe fine, but even like talking about it, like I can feel my chest tighten, and it's a little harder for me to breathe just talking about wearing a mask. So clearly, I have some issue with wearing a mask. That I just it's just so hard for me. So I'm hoping that might become a thing of the past. Um, I'll be waiting for that day when we don't have to wear masks. If you don't know, in Connecticut, we have to wear masks if we are inside anywhere. So if you are not inside our house, but if you go inside a public place, you have to wear a mask. So that is the rule in Connecticut. There is no, it's not an option. Um, if you can't if you can't wear a mask and go into a store, like if you are physically unable to wear a mask, you cannot go into those stores. So that is one of the rules. One of the things that did get relaxed, I think today, is that um, if you need to go to the store, you can't, like, only like either I could go or my husband could go in. We both could not go in. Um, so I guess now we both could go in, although who would stay with our child, but who knows? And that's one of the other things people, I was telling my husband, I said, I, I will have my son in a few weeks. He won't be going to daycare anymore. I'm like, I, the grocery stores are not open in time that we could trade off that I could go to the grocery store without my son. I said, so he's going to have to start going in the middle of June. And I know people want to say that you can order groceries online and they can get delivered. It is still very hard here to get a time and date, and there we are out of some random stuff. Like, I don't even understand. Like, first of all, we don't really have a total like meat problem here. Like, that isn't as big. It's specific brand stores that struggle with their meat suppliers. So if you know which stores struggle with their meat supply, then you just get the meat from somewhere else. Now, I have struggled because I've only had 30 to 40 minutes in which I can go, first of all, drive, go into the grocery store, get the groceries, and come home because of my job and my son and the hours that we're allowed to shop. We don't think it will be anytime soon that the senior hours will change here. So I can't go to the earliest I could go to the grocery store. Some of them is 10 a.m. Some of them are 9 a.m., but most of them are 10 a.m., which also complicates my life. Which also, and we can't go past 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. So some stores are open till 8 p.m., but a lot of stores around us are from 7 to 8 are only open to frontline workers. Like, it's only open, like, that's when grocery store people who work in the grocery stores get to grocery shop. Does that make sense? Hopefully. So that's one of my issues, is that I have from 10 to really like 6 p.m. that I can shop. So that has made life a little complicated. So I don't know. I guess I'm going to start bringing my child to the grocery store and we'll see how it goes. So, we got to get back to life eventually. So we'll try it out. I'm sure I'll let you guys know. One of the big things that I learned about, and I don't think I mentioned it on the last podcast, was before I was pregnant, I had I don't want to say a major thyroid problem, but I went to a naturopath to get my body ready so that my body would be in the best shape possible for when when my husband and I wanted to have a child. I had been on birth control for 15 years. And when I went off it, I had so many problems. And I knew that I was just having so many problems with my hormones and regulating, and I just struggled so much. So I went to a naturopath to try and get them all straightened out. And one of the major issues that I had was my thyroid. And it wasn't horrible. And I didn't really notice when I just took like these thyroid supplements. I noticed a difference, but not a ton of difference. And since we've been home, I've been like really frustrated because I've been working out really hard and not like very intensely, I should say, and a lot. And I have not lost a pound. And not that really was my goal is just to stay active, to keep my brain going. But that was not my only symptom. I have been like exhausted. We've all been exhausted. This is just an exhausting process. But like, I have been just like exhausted, like always tired. Nothing was ever going to take my exhaustion away. One of the major things that I was noticing also was that I was cold. And I'm sure I talked about it so much, how cold I was and how I had to use my electric blanket and how I'm still wearing my winter coat and things like that. maybe I wasn't expressing it well enough, but like I physically was never warm. I could have my electric blanket on high all night. I could be wearing socks, pants, a sweatshirt, a t-shirt, and have 3 layers and my electric blanket on high, and I still would not be warm enough for myself. I would shower 4 or 5 times a day to try and improve my circulation, and it was not working. And when I went to try to do a platelet donation, my iron level was low, which it's never been before, and I just could not figure it out. And granted, I missed it by like 0.1%, so not like a huge deal. But still, I'd been taking iron pills. Like, I've been really good about taking all my vitamins every day and everything like that, and I could not figure it out. And so I was like, let me just try taking my thyroid supplements because they're not going to let me do blood work right now. So I'm like, let me just try it for a few days. So I started taking it. So it's been about a week since I started taking it. It's making, of course, a ridiculous difference. So clearly, my thyroid has been an issue, and it's actually probably been an issue for a little while because um, when my thyroid gets super, I don't want to say super low, but when it's really underactive, I start getting these like little rashes. And I don't know why for the past like 5 or 6 months it hasn't clicked with me that what those little rashes are. And finally it clicked with me the other day. Like, oh, yeah, I have to take this thyroid pill so that I don't get these. And they're not bad. They're very tiny and you wouldn't know. It looks like a bug bite almost. So those have actually started to go away very quickly, faster than I thought they would, actually. But I I'm just so happy that I have like a I don't want to say a solution, but like at least I know why I've been so tired and so cold. And I'm still getting colds, not as cold. Like I'm not feeling like freezing cold. And it wouldn't matter like what the temperature actually is outside. I mean, it doesn't help that it was freezing cold every single day. But like I would still like I could not regulate myself. Like my husband would always be like, "It's too warm. You don't need to wear that." And I'd be like, "I can't. I have to wear more stuff. I'm so cold all the time, and I have to, try and fit in a nap every day because I couldn't even make it through the day." So I am happy that that is helping. I'm hoping that in a few months it's even better. I mean, it's only been a week, so really in like 2 months is when I'll be able to see if it has really made an effective change for my body. I'm hoping it does because, gosh, it's been it's been such a difference this week. So I'm hoping that if I have it consistently, um, and it's funny because when I stopped after I had I mean, even when I was pregnant, I didn't take really any thyroid supplements because my thyroid kind of just like regulated itself at the time. And then I, um, I didn't do it after my son was born because I was like, well, I'm not having a child, so I don't have to keep up on all this stuff. So I guess I didn't realize what effects that could happen on your body, and now I do. So that's pretty much it. So that has been my week. Um, that's it. I try to end every podcast with saying something about my son, something that I'm enjoying with my son. And I didn't think about it or write it down before the podcast. So I'm struggling a little bit. Oh, I can say I did post that we had our baby birds hatch. They're in like a bush in our house, and not in our house, outside of our house. But it's like eye level to us, so we can easily see it. So my son loves to go over to see the baby birds. The mommy bird is there a lot, and we do not want to scare her away in order to see the baby birds. I saw some of them today. There were supposed to be four, and I can't tell if there are four or not. I know there are definitely three. There are two that are much more advanced and ahead of the other birds. So I'm just kind of waiting to see if there are four birds or not. And it's kind of cool. I've never seen baby birds. like the day they hatched, first of all. But we have, that's what we got. We have our little baby birds that we watch every day. They're little, I think they're robins. They're blue eggs. So our robin eggs, blue eggs, I think. Um, so yeah, so we watch them every day. We make sure not to touch the nest or anything like that. That's one of the things. So we just try to observe them. I'm sure the mom bird is used to us because once my son has it in his head that he wants to see those baby birds, we go back like 50, 60 times before the mommy bird will fly away, and she'll give us a minute so we can see the birds, and then we go away. Yesterday though, she wouldn't let us see them at all. So I don't know if that's why the last bird hatched yesterday. Today she's let us see them once, which normally she lets us see it a few more times, but we'll see. Maybe she's just getting used to us, like, "Ugh, these people again." My husband and I joke that this bird is gonna show up in my son's room, just staring at him in the crib, being like, "Hello, do you like it when I just stare at your son?" Um, so yeah, we joke about that all the time. Because we're the worst. We leave our screen door. We forget to close our screen door all the time. So yeah, we're always afraid that bird's gonna fly in, fly up to our son's room. So, anyways, I hope that everyone has a good, safe week, and I will talk to you again next week. Bye.